Welcome back to Life Insurance Today. I'm your host, Edward Pritchett, here to help you be better at sales, take advantage of the life insurance industry to your fullest, and just have a better experience in this amazing industry that we are in. Life insurance, for me, life insurance over the last 15 years has given my life so much more meaning than what I ever thought I was gonna have I was gonna be an engineer, right? I was gonna be this great chemical engineer, I was gonna do amazing things in the world, and I certainly could have. But what this industry has done for me is allowed me to have an impact on countless lives, right? Because that impact is that ripple impact that happens, whether it's agents that I work with, whether it's my clients and their families, and what they learn about how life insurance can help them build generational wealth. All these things have happened because I accidentally fell into the life insurance industry. And maybe that's you. Maybe you're just getting started, you're like, I'm starting in life insurance, I've maybe done some sales, or maybe I've never done sales before, and I don't really understand sales. Now, as I talked about in some previous episodes, I wanted to share some very specific things about sales training, because there's some myths out there that still persist, and we have to start to eradicate them. Because if we do, we're gonna help ourselves be better suited for sales in 2023 versus pretending like 2023 is the same thing as 1950 or 1970 or 1990. Guys, it's not, all right? But when you look at most of the sales training that's out there, we're still operating off of the AIDA, the AIDA model.
AIDA, attention, interest, decision, action.
Right? Attention, interest, desire, action. Because this was invented in 1898. Elias St. Elmo. Like, where does St. Elmo come from? Elias St. Elmo Lewis. Interesting name, not trying to knock Elias St. Elmo Lewis. He came up with a great model that worked for many, many decades upon decades, right? Because let's think about it, 1898, you didn't have TVs, right? You were just hearing about this whole horseless wagon, or the horseless carriage, right? Called the automobile. Electricity was just starting to get into some homes in some cities, right? So of course, if you could get someone's attention, pique their interest, and get them to desire what you had, they were gonna then take action. Like, it was easy for that model to work in 1898, and that lasted for quite a few years. 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, that's what you saw, right? That's when commercials started happening, right? It was easy to get someone's attention when a TV was something they had never seen before. Times changed. Here comes the 60s, the 70s, you have this awakening, revolution, you have civil rights, you have people learning more than they knew before. People taking more onus and responsibility for their day-to-day lives. And so the AIDA model started to fade away, and you start getting to where people wanted consultative sales, right? Like, they wanted to logically think through why they were getting ready to buy stuff. Now, the AIDA model still persisted, right? You still had that happening. You still had that happening. Like, we still have it happen today. Anybody ever see the wavy arm man? Right? Like, that's, why is there a wavy arm man outside of every car dealership? Attention, right? They're just trying to get you to look. Okay, so it does still work to a degree, but things started to shift. 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and the consultative sales training started to happen. You started getting things like the spin model coming out, where it's like, okay, let's make sure that this is needs-based, and let's think through the logical perspective that the client is gonna be thinking about. This was a time where, and I laugh every time I see this in the sales training, that you're supposed to become an expert on product knowledge before you go out and sell. Guys, I'm in the insurance industry, I don't know about you. I have over 80 carriers that I represent. Each of those carriers has 30 to 40, sometimes 50 different products. I am not gonna become an expert on all of those products before I go out and try to help a client out, right? So how does that work? This is where you see people having that paralysis by analysis. We're getting locked up before they ever get started. So if error one isn't working for you, the attention, interest, desire, action, like if that's not working anymore, if the consultative, needs-based, logical sales, you've been trying that and you're not getting that connection. You're not getting clients to engage with you. Let me introduce you to something that, as now I would say a mentor of mine, because I've been diving in and pouring into his training. Don't think that what I'm telling you is just something I came up with overnight, because I'm sharing the things that I'm using to help grow my business every single day, every single week. Like, these are the things that I'm actively working on to improve how I do my sales on a daily basis. And so, big shout out to Mr. Jeremy Miner. You guys can search him, he's on here too. Like my channel as well, but I'm sure you're gonna really like his channel whenever you go over and take a look at all the information that he has available. But he talks about how around 2008, 2009, we all know what was going on. We have the Great Recession. We have the wars in Iraq coming off of everything that had happened around 9/11. We have a very divisive political scene. America is just in a weird state, right? We have this thing called social media and Google, and there's like Bing and Yahoo and GoDuckGo, so there's other things out there too, but Google, where people can get all the information that they think they need, right? They can get all the information, they can get knowledge on tap. So you have where we don't trust anybody, but we can go and search out information all over the place. And there's this attitude of trust just evaporating. We don't trust what anybody says. We're trying to verify everything, and we don't know what to take as true and what is false and what is fake news, and like all this stuff and this is just when it started. And guess what, guys? As we all know, like, did it get better or worse? 2015, 2018, 2020. It just keeps getting worse. So what model works for sales today? Because today's age, this information age, this no trust age that we live in, is different than maybe where some of you came up in the business, where consultative sales worked, right? Maybe you've been in the industry and selling for a long time and you learned that the AIDA model back in the day, right? Here's what it is now.
Here's the deal.
In order to get through, to get that client to actually trust you, it's time to start having dialogue.
What is that?
We are now in a third era of sales in our country, where if you're not willing to engage in dialogue and have a conversation on the front end, then resistance is gonna happen immediately. Like that, like it's just gonna happen. Like, as soon as they think that you're trying to tell them what their problem is, which if you go back to some of the spin selling and logic-based selling, like, that's what we're supposed to do, is we kind of go in, yes, asking questions, but we're gonna assume that we know what their problem is, typically before we've actually listened to them and engaged with them to figure out what situation are they currently in. What might the problem be? What could the consequences of this problem be if you just kind of stick with where you are? Okay, so that's what it would look like. Well, we may have some solutions. Is it possibly time to make a change and do something different? Okay, now let me present a couple things that can work, and at that point we can actually make a commitment and get this thing handled for you. Now, I just ran through real quickly 7 stages that, again, attributed to the person who created it, Jeremy Miner. 7 stages of his sales process that really coalesce around what dialogue or conversational selling is.
Well, reason for the call today, John, is something just came across my desk, John. It is perhaps the best thing I've seen in the last 6 months. If you have 60 seconds, I'd like to share the idea with you. Got a minute?
This is where we are today. If you're still using those old tricks and techniques from the 90s and early 2000s, guys, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna be what allows your client to actually trust you and put you in a position where they want to share what's going on and then actually listen to your advice and take action, right? We talk about here on social media, CTA, call to action. I can't call someone to action until they actually trust that what I have is something that will solve their problem. And many times, especially in the insurance industry, and this is who I'm speaking to you all in the insurance industry right now, for sure, but this applies across the board for sales. People don't really know what their problem is. They don't know what their problem is because they don't fully understand insurance. They don't fully understand what this product can potentially do for them, whether it's protection right now, whether it's generational wealth building, whether it's debt elimination, retirement planning and security. They're not sure because they don't know that these products exist sometimes or exactly how they work. So I have to be able to have a conversation, just like I'm having a conversation with a friend or a spouse or a brother or sister, where I need to listen to figure out what's going on for them. I actually have to be engaged. I have to pause and think and listen and allow them to hear me whenever I'm talking and not just rush through some sales pitch to get it out there and present really fast so that they just have the information. I think they're gonna make a decision because that's the logical decision they should make. That's how we've been taught to sell. We've been taught to sell from that assumptive standpoint. Let's just give them the choose this one or this one, right? Which one do you like, sir? Product A or product B? Product B, right? Like, I'm not giving them the yes or no. Like, people are still gonna say, well, I don't like either of them, right? If you don't know what situation that they're in, if they don't know what problem they have, and they have to be the one to convince themselves of it, right? Have you ever tried to convince anybody recently that their opinion about something is wrong? Yeah, exactly. Like, it just doesn't happen anymore. The only way someone is convinced that they need to take action or do something that they're not doing is if they persuade themselves. If they talk through the situation, like, yeah, here's where I'm at and here's what's going on and maybe here's the emotions that I'm feeling about it and, yeah, there is a consequence if I just keep doing like this. Maybe I should do something different. Do you have a solution for that? Like, this is how we want the conversation to go. But we have to be willing to dive into this new form of sales training and let go of the past. Let go of the old ways that you were taught to sell and dig in with someone who's talking about dialogue or conversational selling. I promise you, if you spend your sales training time learning that, it will improve your skill level every single day and it's gonna improve your results. So let's go through that real quick one last time. Where are you? Which era are you still in? How are you selling? Are you back in that old AIDA model, attention, interest, desire, action? Are you in that logical, consultative sales process era? Or have you stepped into the era that we are currently living in where the top salespeople are doing this to get the best results, and that's the dialogue or conversational sales era of today? Take a look at this information, dive in deeper. This is just a start, but guys, if this has been somewhat helpful, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear this because they're still selling by waving their arms really wildly and trying to get people to look at them, all right? Share this with that salesperson and say, you're welcome. Hope this has been helpful for you. Comment below, let us know what you're doing today and what you're looking to be able to do tomorrow in this amazing industry that we call insurance. This has been Life Insurance Today. Take care.